Have you ever thought of someone out of nowhere, no reason, someone you haven't spoken to in years, and then your phone lit up? It was them. Most people have a moment like that, something small, something that made them pause for just a second before life moved on. But what if those moments mean something? What if reality is not quite what it appears? Have you ever glanced at a clock without meaning to? 11, 11. You look away. What feels like an hour later without thinking? 4:44. You mention something to a friend, something unusual, something you hadn't thought about in years. Yet hours later, there it is again. A different conversation, the same idea, as though reality was listening. Then there are the moments harder to explain. A conversation you could swear already happened. The strange certainty that you somehow knew what came next. Like time briefly repeated itself, or hesitated. Just for a second. Once, easy to dismiss. But these moments have a way of accumulating. Until something quietly shifts. In how you see things. As though something was paying attention. And then there are the memories. The ones you never thought to question. Because why would you? A logo you saw 1,000 times. A line from a film you know by heart. Something ordinary. Something small. The kind of detail you never imagined getting wrong. Until someone says that's not how it was. And you stop. Because you know they're wrong. You are certain. Absolutely certain. Except reality disagrees. People call this the Mandela Effect. Memories held with complete conviction that the world simply does not share. And the unsettling part isn't being wrong. It's how impossible it feels to accept that you were. Because once certainty stops feeling certain, other things start to feel uncertain too. You hear people say it quietly, almost apologetically. I can't explain it, but something feels different. Not dramatically, not in any obvious way. A street you have walked 100 times feels slightly wrong. A place you know well suddenly feels unfamiliar. You can't point to anything that changed. And yet, the feeling remains, as though something shifted while you weren't paying attention. After enough of these moments, certainty beginning to crack, familiar things feeling slightly wrong, a question begins to form, not loudly, just at the edge of everything strange. What if all of those moments point toward the same question? It's an idea most people first encountered as a movie. But the question existed long before the cinema did. Because quietly, some of the most rigorous minds alive have asked the same question. Not as fantasy, not as a metaphor, as a genuine possibility. That one day, reality itself might become impossible to distinguish from something constructed. A simulation, experienced so completely that nothing inside it would ever feel wrong. And perhaps the question isn't whether that's true. Perhaps the question is why. It feels so strangely believable, because you didn't need a philosopher to make you wonder. You already felt it, in those moments, the ones that made you pause. Maybe reality is exactly what it seems. Maybe memory is simply flawed. Maybe coincidence is just coincidence. Or maybe reality has always been stranger than we realize. Life just moves too fast to notice. Because if something shifted in ways too small to see, if reality quietly rewrote one small thing, somewhere at the edge of what you remember, would you even know? Or would it simply feel like everything had always been this way? Perhaps you already missed it,